Yo, right back at this video, man. Hey, man, we got these regular guys challenging NBA player and instantly regretted it, man. Jimmy High Roller, man. Hey, man, look, man. Y'all know what we came here to do, man. Y'all know what we didn't come here to do, man. We came here to get straight to the point. What we didn't come to do, man, is all that other stuff, man. What the fuck? Taco, where is it? With that being said, man, let's get right to the video.
You know, under the right circumstances, if I maxed out all of my abilities and put all my efforts into this sport, I think I could play in the league. Regardless of how unrealistic this is, I'm sure we've all had this thought before. We all love the game, and we'd all love to play it at the highest
level. That's not true, bro. It's so rough people break the NBA.
Of us, this dream will forever remain just that.
A
dream.
That's fact.
Because the gap between most of us and an NBA player is massive. In fact, it could be difficult to understand just how much better the average NBA player is compared to the average Joe. Luckily for us, every once in a while an NBA player will take the time to show us.
That one guy that played local gym every Saturday, avid player.
A few weeks ago, a high school basketball player challenged
I didn't even make high school freshman my weekend.
Player and basketball GOAT to a game of one-on-one. The kid was confident, so confident that he even bet his own shoes on the game. Now, this kid looks to be a solid 6'2", 6'3", with some good skill and athleticism, probably better than the average high school hooper. On the other hand, Scalabrini is a 43-year-old who's been retired for nearly a decade. But there's levels to this. So on the first possession, the high schooler tries to create space with a little hezzy pull-up. And gets
that was too easy.
At this point, the game was already over.
He's too little. Oh my God.
After what probably felt like the longest 5 minutes of the kid's life, Brian Scalabrini beat the high schooler 11-0. It wasn't even close.
He wasn't even trying.
I'm sure there's some clips of the kid getting more shots up on Brian, but his friends decided to only include the clips of Brian torching him. Now, Scal could have easily used his size on every possession, but to really make an example out of the young buck, he got into his bag instead. This isn't even fair. Keep in mind, Brian is a relatively out-of-shape 43-year-old, 9 years removed from the NBA. Brian wasn't even an average NBA player. No offense to the man, but when I tried to search up his stats on Basketball Reference, Brian was so low on the leaderboard that he didn't even come up. His name literally doesn't appear. So instead, I went over to the ESPN archives and dig through hundreds and hundreds of players until I finally found old Brian on the last page of the league leaderboard. Out of 479 players in the NBA that season, Brian ranked 464th. 464th. In fact, in Brian's last season in the NBA,
he was on the Bulls, wasn't he?
Just 32 points.
That's all I know, because he was on the Bulls.
He scored just 20, and in the season before that, he scored 78. In fact, Brian scored less points in his entire 11-year NBA career than James Harden scored last season, in the first 45 games of the season. In Scal's last season in the NBA, he was worse at scoring the ball than 97% of NBA players. And here he is, 9 years later, shooting hoops in his spare time and still absolutely smoking an above-average hooper. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I like to call perspective. It's something that you need in order to grasp exactly where you stand in the world of sports, and yet it's something that a lot of sports fans lack. We all know that one guy that swears he would have went to the league if he didn't get injured or he got more playing time, or if he was 6 inches taller. That's me saying that. I'm that one guy. But all jokes aside, sometimes we just need to get walked by real NBA talent to know exactly how good these guys are. Like in 2017, when a 22-year-old Fred VanVleet went one-on-one against two other hoopers. Now, these other hoopers were far from average. One of them was Marcus Posley, a guard in the G League. The other hooper was Jordan Poole, who is now a contributing player on the Warriors, but at the time was an 18-year-old fresh out of high school as the 51st top prospect in the entire country. Two elite basketball players, one a professional in the G League, the other a top high school recruit with 5 inches on VanVleet. Both of them far, far better than everyone at your local gym. Take a wild guess at how these one-on-ones went.
Y'all know who Van Vliet is, though, right?
It went pretty much exactly how you would expect. Van Vliet, going half speed, was still on another level.
Where he go to? UNC, I think? Okay, where he went? But I remember him in college. He was going crazy.
In King's Court format, Poole finished with 3, Posley finished with 7, and Van Vliet finished with 19. And didn't even break a sweat in the process.
He's mostly not trying.
Come on, dog. This man literally isn't even trying.
He's not trying at all.
Fans know Van Vliet as a killer point guard with a championship and a 54-point performance under his belt. But back in 2017, Fred was hardly a rotational guy for the Raptors, averaging just 8 minutes and 3 points per game. This guy is 6 feet tall on a good day, can hardly get playing time in the league, and here he is completely sleepwalking through 2 elite basketball talents like it's nothing. Perspective. And I would like to say that for the most part, NBA players don't even give us average Joes the time of day. Only once in a blue moon do they bring their busy days to a halt to show some washed up hack just how delusional he is. But far more often,
Michael Jordan
don't even listen to the chatter. Well, all of them but Scalabrine. Brian doesn't just listen to us average Joes, he makes a show about it and proceeds to embarrass our fellow average brethren for the world to see. Seriously, this was a real thing. This actually happened. In 2013, on a show called The Scouting, which is pretty much the greatest name for a show in the history of shows, Brian Scalabrine didn't just play random guys one-on-one and take their shoes. This man hand-picked contestants via video submissions, brought them onto his own show, created apparel and merchandise for the show, and even had his own sideline crew to call the action. This is absolute peak, all-time pettiness from Scal. And I love it. Imagine sending a video to a former NBA player, calling him out on his game and saying you could beat him, and probably assuming you won't actually get picked. And then next thing you know, you're suited up in a gym checking the ball up to a 6'8" NBA champion. Now, some of these video submissions were complete satire, but for every guy trying to crack some jokes, there was a hooper who actually felt like he had a chance against Scal. The 3 contestants he chose were Matt Tomaszewski, Rich Morantis, and Jake Fay. Now, Mr. Tomaszewski wasn't your average hooper. Matt was a 6'8" forward who started at Syracuse just a year before this one-on-one. The second challenger, Rich, was actually a really good hooper back in his day, a former D2 player and also a former pro in Australia. The last challenger, Jake Fay, well, Jake is the epitome of an average player who had nothing but what I assume are a few rec league trophies in his submitted video that he literally did drills around. 3 challengers, 1 Scalabrine, and a 0% probability that anyone stood a chance.
Matt Tomaszewski, a graduate of Syracuse where he played basketball. Rich, it's a good size matchup. They're almost identical in physical appearance.
I watched him in warm-ups. He can hit threes all day, but the question is, does he have the speed?
Damn.
Does he have the quickness to take on the Vanilla Godzilla?
Elbows up.
How about that? How about that?
The Vanilla Godzilla?
That's a nice spin move.
And he goes back for the 3. Oh, red. Oh!
It's an interesting stretch. Hey, Greeny, what a contest.
Hey, seriously?
Well, that went about as terrible as I thought it would. Let's see how Jake did.
Where I'm from, I'm called the Great White Hope.
He probably don't even score.
There ain't gonna be no hope.
Oh, this guy's gonna suck. Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. All right.
That's decent.
Wow. I think this guy might be a keeper.
And he's got his trophies
All
out.
around the trophies.
Yeah.
Scout, what do you think?
No, it's decent. Good athlete. It's a guy, we're going to pick this guy. I like it. Make sure you bring your trophies. This is the guy we want.
No, he didn't. He got
I'm talking about make sure you bring your trophies.
Oh!
Baby.
push off.
There you go.
Ooh, la.
There you go. Go for the dunk, baby. Go!
Fadeaway
Jumper, it's in.
And it is the shutout as he
Told you he ain't even gonna
as he
score.
wanted. Brian Scalabrine takes out Jake Fay.
Yep, pretty much what I thought. Rich, let's see what you can do.
As much as I would have to guard him, he'd have to guard me.
So you have chosen death.
He ain't score either.
You walk away with a shutout. What did you take from it?
Well, I missed that first shot that I should have made. And after that, I just couldn't get the shot going, really. It's kind of where it is.
Okay, that was terrible. Breaking news. NBA players, even old, washed up, retired ones, are way, way, way better than any of us. And I would like to say that after torching these 3 contestants, everyone's ego came back down to earth. But no. Instead, and I'm not joking when I say this, the sideline crew decided to get in on the action and challenge Brian to a game of 3-on-1. The sideline crew.
That was on his team, though.
Yes. 3 below-average middle-aged men versus 1 former NBA player. Based on what you've seen so far, how exactly do y'all think this went down?
3 people? Bro, imagine losing to 1 person, bro. It's literally a 3-on-1, bro. Down tremendous.
Oh boy. I mean, I would really like to say that these guys put up a decent fight.
No, they didn't.
But yeah. This is what happens when average Joes try to go against an NBA player. In fact, this is what happens when an
I mean, he is 6'8", though.
a former D1 player and even a former overseas guy go against an NBA player. In the off chance that you ever get to actually play an elite talent on this level, it's just not going to go well for you. So shout out to Brian, Fred, and any other NBA player who has taken time to scorch the normal guys, for giving us perspective that we desperately need but often refuse to accept. Let me know in the comments below. And be honest, how well do you think you would do in a game of 1-on-1 against an NBA player? And even better, who exactly do you think you would have the best shot at beating? Hope you all enjoyed.
Who I had? Nobody, bro. I'm not a hooper, bro. I'm going to keep it $1,030,000,000. I'm terrible. There's no way. First of all, I'm going to tell you why there's no way. I'm short, bro. They're literally going to shoot over me every single time. Like, they don't even have to. They probably don't even have to jump and shoot. They just going to be shooting over me every single time. There's just no hope. There's no hope. Even if I shoot, I don't jump when I shoot, bro. I barely get off the ground. So they're going to send my shot every time. I don't stand a chance, bro. I don't know, man. I ain't got an ego. I know I can't hoop. I know I suck. And I'm just keeping it being 30. But hey, man, let's do it. Y'all be smooth, be easy, man. Keep your head up, man. I love y'all. Just be humble, man. NBA players still way better than us, even though they might suck in the NBA.